After gathering the data from my December 2009 experiments, I analyzed and classified the 43 videos that landed on my narrowed-down stag film list. Based on my observations, only 13 of the 43 videos can be thought of as remotely resembling stag films, with another 13 falling under the category of burlesque dancing. The remaining 17 videos are something else entirely. Thus, 13 out of 43 YouTube stag films are only tangentially related to stag films. Let me begin with a brief summary of the 13 videos that are at least somewhat related to stag films, before turning to an explanation of the 30 videos that are not. One true stag film, entitled On the Beach, was actually removed from YouTube in late December of 2009, presumably due to its explicit sexual content and nudity. Of the remaining 12 videos, 8 were posted by a user named Ctesk, and all 8 are part of a series which he or she calls, and I quote, 1940s cheesecake adult film, not porn, end quote. Interestingly, all the videos are completely silent, and the fact that Ctesk makes a point of telling the viewer in the title that these videos are not porn underlines his or her desire to cordon off the series from pornographic material. Ctesk also makes known his or her nostalgia for the purer, more wholesome erotica of the past in a description of one film entitled Night Before the Wedding. Quote, "In case you don't know, this is the sexy adventures of Bebe, Zona, and Lou, 3 naughty girls from the 1940s who love to show off their underwear. This is not porn by any stretch of the imagination, but in the 1940s, this was considered adult entertainment. Short films like this were mail-ordered from popular men's magazines. Very funny and harmless compared to today's world." End quote. One other real stag film deserves mention. In Eclectic Warrior's video, called The Bolsheviks, The Bearded Lady, we see 2 women spanking another woman with paddles, then tying her up to a vibrating bed and tickling her. At the end of the 50-second video, the roles are reversed. The woman who had previously been tied up begins spanking the other 2 with a paddle. Eclectic Warrior notably chose Brahms's Hungarian Dance No. 5 to accompany this scene. This famous folk music-inspired 19th century piano piece provides additional commentary on and shapes our perceptions of the images of the film, infusing the scene with music that evokes an older, more exotic place and time. Furthermore, layered on top of the tinny piano track are male hoots, hollers, laughter, and catcalls. These sounds, along with the Hungarian Dance No. 5, become the vintage soundtrack through which viewer listeners can then appropriately place the film footage back in its imagined original male, heterosexual, homosocial sphere. In this way, Eclectic Warrior, through his or her sound and music choices, creates the feeling of a turn-of-the-century men's social club, as conceived by a 21st century YouTube user. But The Bearded Lady wasn't designed simply for entertainment or titillation. At the beginning of the video, we see a brief 1-second-long advertisement for the British punk garage rock band, the Bolsheviks. If one follows the link to Eclectic Warrior's YouTube channel, the marketing nature of the video becomes clear, with a link to the Bolsheviks' MySpace page and news about the release of their album, Action Reaction, listed near the top of the page. The Bearded Lady, it turns out, is one of a series of YouTube videos posted by Eclectic Warrior with the purpose of drumming up fans for the band. What at first may seem like the work of a stag film enthusiast, then, turns out to be an advertisement, with Brahms's Hungarian dance serving as the Eastern-inflected connective tissue between the British band and their Russian namesake, and also underlining the exotic otherness of the 3 women in the video. I turn my attention now to what I call the non-stag stag films. In addition to the aforementioned 13 burlesque dancing videos, the other 17 videos include a wide variety of content and characters. But despite the hodgepodge of content, these films, like their real counterparts, are often used for advertising and marketing. In the following analysis, I focus on one key example from this group in order to show another way in which YouTube users deploy the stag film label for marketing purposes and how music facilitates this process. On November 12, 2009, 38 Ludlow Productions posted a video called Chocolate Plays in Black, Stag Part 1, which has since been renamed Ms. Chocolate in Black Stag Film MILF 1. This 1 minute 49-second video opens with a lingering close-up shot of a woman's partially covered breasts. Smooth, light, symphonic jazz accompanies the camera pan down her torso and legs. Eventually, the camera zooms out, revealing her face and the rest of her body. Finally, we see Chocolate lying down on the rug on the floor, moving her pelvis up and down in a series of slow, almost exercise-like motions. The music for Ms. Chocolate Part 1 recalls the orchestral sounds of Nelson Riddle, Victor Young, or better yet, Mantovani, evoking the string-heavy, easy-listening music popular in the late 1950s and into the 1960s. The solo clarinet, layered on top of the shimmering, humming string accompaniment, the occasional tinkling of the vibraphone, the subtle use of percussion, and the slow duple meter set the even-keel mood for our viewing experience of Ms. Chocolate. Indeed, it is the music, not the images, that creates the vintage aspect of this stag film. The video itself is clearly contemporary and homemade, with Ms. Chocolate's availability as a new commodity emphasized. And perhaps we are being led to believe, through the music, that her feminine sensuality and perceived innocence are of a bygone era, an era when women were still doing stag films on the rug for their husbands. This video is obviously an advertisement, and 38 Ludlow Productions doesn't hide this fact. The annotations from satisfied consumers pop up throughout the video, helping to keep the purchasing possibility alive in the viewer. The More Info tab on the right-hand side of the screen also offers additional retail information, and I quote, "New, hot, uncensored DVDs. Ms. Chocolate does a stag film on her new rug. Post a comment. Silliness and sexiness for sure. What do you think? Would you buy a DVD of Chocolate stag films for $30? I'm thinking of making one." End quote. If you aren't quite ready to buy, don't worry. There are other short Ms. Chocolate YouTube videos you can sample, such as the follow-up to Ms. Chocolate in Black Stag Film MILF 1, a video called Busty MILF in Black Stag 2. Busty MILF notably contains the song Because You're Mine, written by Sammy Kahn and Nicholas Brodsky for Carmen McRae's 1965 album Second to None, thus continuing the vintage sounds we heard previously in MILF 1. But if you want to see Ms. Chocolate doing more than just a stag film on her new rug, you'll have to visit her website and be ready to spend some money. As I've attempted to demonstrate throughout this essay, YouTube videographers, through their appropriation of the phrase stag film, have developed, perhaps unwittingly, a newly defined YouTube-specific genre of stag film. And at the heart of this new genre is music. By combining vintage soundtracks with sexually suggestive images intended to capitalize on the curiosity of their audience, videographers manage to creatively circumvent the constraints of censorship, even using censorship to their advantage, in order to sell their goods, services, and videos. Thus, housed within promises of titillation are marketing agendas. And stag film, taken from the dimly lit back room where it once lived, is given a new, legitimate life in advertising. Thank you.